All right, so think about popular books set in Seattle in the last decade or so. I mean, 50 Shades of Grey, top of a luxury condo tower in downtown. Where'd You Go, Bernadette, high-end Queen Anne neighborhood. So why would a local author set his debut novel in a place off Lake Ciy Way, maybe not the highest end of neighborhoods? Thomas Constam is with me this morning. Debut novel is actually called Lake Ciy. So before we get into the plot, that's what I want to talk about. I mean, you're a travel writer. You've traveled all over the world. You could have had the glamorous spots to set your novel, and you put it in a bedroom pre-2000.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on. Hi, Mom. Lake Ciy is essentially one of the last neighborhoods in Seattle that hasn't fallen to the relentless tech boom and the monoculture that we're becoming. To me, it has a lot of the class diversity that we've lost, and I wanted to write the great Seattle novel that showed the culture that I grew up in, put a stake in the ground, say this is the way that it was, and something that we need to try to maintain as in the face of this relentless change. Driving here through South Lake Union, it's like there were buildings there that I didn't even see maybe last week. It's always a different world. In Lake Ciy, yeah, okay, it has this gritty past, and it wasn't maybe always the most desirable neighborhood in town, but maybe that's what's held it, allowed it to not get caught up in the, the rush of everything else. And I'm appreciating it a lot more now, having grown up in the area. I wasn't always super proud about being from around there, but now it's like there are elements of Seattle that have already disappeared in Fremont, that have already disappeared in Ballard, and they're still there in Lake Ciy. And just, again, I wanted to really write a book about Seattle culture and about class. And, Where'd You Go, Bernadette? Like you said, it's about rich Californians living on the top of Queen Anne. This takes place in the deli at the Lake Ciy Fred Meyer.
Which I love.
Yeah, I mean,
so tell us about the plot. Give us a brief summary. Don't give anything away.
Okay, I won't give anything away. Let me, I'll try not to. So it's essentially about an ambitious loser.
I think that's a fair characterization.
Yeah, he's not, he doesn't start off as the most likable guy necessarily, but an ambitious loser who is contracted by a wealthy adoptive couple to seduce and eventually sabotage a troubled birth mom from his neighborhood. And he's trying to do the right thing, if he can only figure out what that is, all in this path to kind of win back this life he feels that he so richly deserves.
So I found myself laughing, and yet it is really dark in many places as well. Honestly, it felt very 2019 to me because of that. How did you hit that sweet spot?
Well, I think choosing, so again, it's set in 2001.
Right.
I think that was an interesting point in time because that was the end of the first .com boom, and it was, you can see there the trajectory which we're on today, and sort of a way station on the way to our present point, and just gives people something to think about moving forward to the future too. Like, where's this all going? What's happening? And it was an interesting moment in Seattle history. And plus, setting it in 2001, there weren't a ton of smartphones, so he could be kind of lost and isolated. And,
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. It feels very much like a Seattle that I remember and have forgotten that I forgot, if that makes sense.
That means the world to me that you feel that way about it.
I think it's going to be a fantastic book. It's available now at favorite bookstores. You're doing some touring, some reading of the book. So, go to your favorite local bookstore, maybe in Seattle. Maybe on Lake Ciy, I don't know, and pick up the book. Thomas, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you.
I really appreciate it.